Hello, welcome. Today we have a VOD review on Oasis. We got a Masters level Tracers. So I have a confession to make. Pretty much all my VODs, I never see them beforehand. For this particular VOD, I did the entire review with my microphone not working, and yeah, I'm really sad about that. So I think for this VOD, I'm just gonna let it run. I don't think I'm ever gonna let it stop. And we'll just, and I'll just kind of, based off of memory a little bit. Okay, so I like that you're flanking here on the left side. This is generally how I demand Tracers and Genjis to play. You always have to be flanking. Looking for, a left side or a right side flank, doesn't matter, it depends on the map. In this case, the left side's quicker to get to. The right side's a better flank, but it just takes a really long time to get there. Yeah, so let's see. Cool. Let's let this play. If I recall correctly, you guys really smashed this first round, and I don't think I had a lot to say, actually, because your team was just crushing it. And you guys just kind of spawn camp them for most of it. In fact, I don't even think you give up the point. Right. Actually, I remember this. This Roadhog. I was really happy that you respected him. You could have 1v1'd him if you knew that his teammates were isolated, right? Like if he was isolated from his teammates. Actually, I'm gonna stop it for a sec. So in that situation, you knew that his teammates were close. So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna back off. I respect him. Even though in 1v1 you can take on a Roadhog, especially with Pulse Bomb. So I'm glad that you did not fight him and you backed off. Okay. Right here, this Tracer, this Mercy, she was actually isolated from her team for a while, and if I recall correctly, you actually could have just killed her with some left clicks. Her soldier wasn't even looking at you, and you probably could have had a lot of time to just shoot her and kill her. I don't think you needed to necessarily use Pulse Bomb yet. So let's kind of look back at that. So right here, he's running away. If you were kind of a little bit more patient and let him run away, you could have just probably easily burned her down yourself. And then if she Guardian Angels into her team, you blink in forward with a really aggressive Pulse Bomb, and boom, that's probably like a triple or a quad kill or whatever. So again, maybe be a little bit more patient with your Pulse Bomb. But that being said, I don't mind really aggressive Pulse Bombs. From Tracer. I really like Tracers that are aggressive. They use it liberally, always looking for sticks. And with the exception of Zarya, if you have Zarya on your team, then you can coordinate with her and save it for the right opportunity. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, no, save it possible.
Yeah, so let's skip this a bit. Well, let's see how this fight goes. Oh yeah, you're. Oh, the res. Yeah, finish that Zarya. Good. Nice. Okay, alright.
Oh, what?
Don't worry, daddy's got you.
So, I'm gonna skip this first round because, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys just smashed them. Yep. Okay. Alright, so in this situation, I want you to be flanking right. If I recall correctly, you go left. On this map, going in this direction, or, if you want to be more safe, going from on this side more to the right, this way, is a pretty damn good flank. Everyone typically goes left in solo queue, at least in my experience, so that's not where I want you. Yeah, you go left. So I don't really like this kind of position. You're kind of, and you do find the Mercy, so props to you on that. But yeah, so in this kind of situation, you're just not as effective. If you can be behind them, you're gonna just have a field day with their backline, Junkrat, Mercy, Anna, whoever. Whereas when you're doing this kind of fighting, you're just purely relying on your mechanical skill and that your team is just gonna outplay them. So if you can take the time to get a proper flank, and to be honest with Tracer, it doesn't even require that much time. On the first round, or rather when the map opens up, you can probably just get in position and still have 2 or 3 blinks when you start to engage on your opponent. So, cool. Good stick there. I like that stick. I like that stick. Cool. Secured the win quickly. I like it. You could have held on to it, but again, I'm much more of a fan of really aggressive pulse bombs, especially when the fight wasn't necessarily won yet. Like, you could have potentially still lost that fight. So, good. So again, I don't really like you in the position that you are now. I want you more on the right side. So like, yeah, you saw that. Actually, you saw that trap. You could have avoided it. I want you in this general area. This is kind of where I want your playground to be. There's a health pack here and a big fatty health pack over there. Not to mention, you can use their health pack. There's like one here, and then another fatty one, like over here. So yeah, there's like tons of places to utilize. Tons of space, tons of health packs.
This is going top.
Winston's in the middle. Oh no, body block me, Winston. Winston, body block me! Oh, thank you.
So again, you're on this left side, but this left side, it just doesn't have enough space for you to run. Like you kind of have this you have how do I describe it? It's just that the corners are really tight, and yeah, I was really surprised you got this kill. Yeah, there's just not enough room for Tracer to run around, and again, I feel like health pack wise, there's only that small one, and then the fatty one by the bouncy thing. So that to me is there's just less space. So let's just put it that way. There's less space and more like tight corners. And Tracer doesn't really like tight corners. If I'm a pretty decent Tracer player, but even at the highest levels, you'll still see Tracers accidentally, like when they're trying to go backwards, you'll see them kind of get stuck on a wall when they're blinking backwards. Happens all the time. Unless you put a ton of hours into this game and you like memorize every map and you know them perfectly, that's just kind of how it's going to work with Tracer. So Tracer works really well with like a few corners and walls to work with, and just like big open space, and of course health packs, because she's like the queen of health packs, because she gets first dibs almost all the time because of her hyper mobility. So anyways, that's the case I'm trying to build for that right side as opposed to the left side. Not to mention, there's just a lot of people that go on that other side. Okay, cool. So, cool, I don't have too much to... It looks like you guys win this one. All right, cool. Let's see. If I recall correctly, I think this one I had the most feedback for this round, because I think you guys lose this round. So I think after this one, I'll probably cut the video. I'll stop it after that. So, cool, let's see.
Not sure.
For this map, it's kind of hard. Left and right, they're both kind of crappy for Tracer. Neither are particularly better. Neither side is particularly better than the other. So you elect to go this left side. That's cool. They put a lot of pressure on you here. They have a Junkrat and a Tracer.
All these fucking bubble fell in the hole.
So cool. So then you kind of absorb this pressure. That's cool. Except you kind of give it up a little too easily. So you back off. You go back to your team, and instead what I want you to do is kind of keep fighting that. I don't want you to give that up so easily. And it looks like you have a teammate here who's kind of with you, and you're kind of leaving them alone. So I would have liked for you to kind of keep pressing that side. So you're on Winston. I mean, that's not very great. And look at your position. This is exactly where you don't want to be as Tracer. Like, if you're Soldier, this is okay. Or McCree, but as Tracer, this is not where you want to be. So kudos to that to your opponents for pressing you back so well.
Oh,
I ate that.
yeah, I fucking gave you bubble and it just died.
So
Can't see anyone.
So since that first flank that you tried to do, which I like that you try to look for a flank on the left side. Since they kind of boxed you out of there, and I don't like the stall from Genji and from you. There's really no point. Well, yeah, whatever. Anyways, yeah. So since they boxed you out so well, it put you in a horrible position the rest of that fight. Like, you were basically useless that entire fight because of how they boxed you out. So again, I would have liked for you to try to fight that a little bit more and make them continue to push you out until they're all the way around you, and then you can figure out what to do. You kind of gave up that position too easily, and then again, you were just kind of useless that fight. So it's really critical. So I feel like that fight shows how critical it is for Tracer to go for a flank. I will say one more thing. You could have also... Actually, no, they had a Junkrat, so you were pretty much screwed from that. So that was really your only bet, was to kind of keep poking and prodding that fight. And again, it would have been difficult because obviously Tracer and Junkrat were there, but you had support coming still. So you weren't ready to just give that up so easily. And I like what you're doing here. You're going for the right. Yes, I remember this. So this was actually a really big missed opportunity for you. When this Winston dove you, he's trying to do the same thing they were doing to you before. He's trying to box you out, put you back on your side of the map. When he did this, you actually had a huge play to make here. If you had just gone the other way towards their spawn, you would have been close to their backline, and their Winston here would have been out of position and totally useless without bubble. So instead, you get a little bit scared here, and then you go towards your team. Guess what? The same thing's going to happen as last fight, where you're just kind of useless, or at the very least, just way, way less useful. So big mistake here. You could have really outplayed him by going towards their spawn. Instead, he gets the outplay, and for free, he gets you. Well, not for free, but he easily gets you back to your side, and then he's happy as a clam.
Well,
Yeah, so this Winston is so happy that he was able to do that for you, or to you. So that was a really good stick. But imagine if you had done that stick from behind, from behind Anna and Mercy. If you had, do they still have a Mercy? Whatever. They do have a Mercy. So if you had done that from behind, you probably get that stick and then some. You probably get more damage. You probably don't have to burn your recall, and you probably can just blink around and keep fighting. So this is probably where I want to end my video. So I would probably show this video to anybody that was like, or rather that anyone that didn't understand the importance of flanking. This right here shows just how crucial it is, because the last two games you were doing okay, but in this one they really, really screwed you over and really, what's the word I want to? Drastically reduced your usefulness by just by contesting the flanks, and I have a video about contesting flanks if you want to check that out. And the enemy team did it super, super, super well. So I need you to really practice and think about how you're going to get behind your opponents, how you're going to get behind them, and importantly, how you're going to do it with using as little abilities as possible. I'll see Tracers use all 3 blinks to get behind there, and then guess what? They don't have any blinks to fight. So if you are going to use 3 blinks to get behind your opponents, you need to do it in such a way where you're like safe. You're like out of line of sight, and they won't just like jump on you. So cool. Let's talk about, so that's the number one thing I need you to work on by far, and that's the usual like number one thing most people need to work on, especially at this level. Actually, no, pretty much all the levels actually, except for maybe like I don't know GM, and even then I see tons of GMs that don't flank properly as Genji and Tracer. So, anyways, work on that. Really important. Your pulse bombs are great. They're very aggressive. I like them. If I recall correctly, your blink usage is pretty good. But your recalls, I'm trying to remember if you were too greedy, like if you try to held on to them for too long, or if you used them too early. If I'm not mistaken, I think you were too... Actually, you might have been one of those players that, like sometimes you should have used it when you didn't, and and the reverse. Like sometimes you didn't use it when you did, or you shouldn't have used it when you did. Whatever. I think you understand what I'm saying. But right now, the most important thing is your flanking, because your aim's pretty good, your pulse bombs are pretty good, and your team fighting's great. So yeah, work on that. Okay, cool. I hope this video was helpful.